Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend I don't want his brother living with us? Me, 29, and my boyfriend 30 have been dating for 3 years and living together for 2. He has an older brother, 32, who lives with their friend. He has been living with his friend rent-free for about 5 years now. That's a lot. His friend is getting more serious in a relationship and gave my boyfriend's brother a year to find a new place to stay. His brother is kind of not a good person, and him and I don't get along too well. But I tolerate him because he's my boyfriend's brother. He does not have a lot of motivation and currently does not make enough money to live on his own and says he has no savings. His girlfriend also lives with him and she does not work. So they are currently sort of a package deal. I mentioned to my boyfriend before that I really don't want his brother to move in with us if he does not find a place by December. We do not have the room. Our guest room is directly off of the main living space, and we only have one bathroom. They also have no parents, so parents are not the option. He says that he will not let his brother be homeless, and if he stays with us, he would only let him stay for 3 months. But I know it would be longer. If he can't find a place in a year, what will an additional 3 months do? That's true. It would be one thing if I got along well with his brother, but his brother constantly makes rude comments and relies on everyone else to help him. Just this year, my boyfriend has given him his old car for free, pays for his car insurance, and paid to fix his gaming computer. My boyfriend and I just got into an explosive fight over this, and it ended with him basically saying I have no say in this discussion, and if it comes down to it, his brother will live with us. I have approached to this nicely, but tried to explain how uncomfortable I would feel. Not to mention his brother works night shifts and sleeps all day. So I will feel like I have to be quiet all day in my house. I don't think I'm being unreasonable expressing my stance on it. I don't want his brother to be homeless either, but I don't want him to come here. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for rejecting a single mom based on her lifestyle and friends? I'm a 43 years old man who lives in Canada. My wife ended our marriage 3 years ago. She started having an affair with her married friend. She filed for divorce and left me and the kids, 14 male, 12 female, to be with the new law in USA. I have full custody of the kids. It was really hard at first, but now we have a good routine going on and kids are doing great. They see a therapist regularly. I never dated after my divorce. I started working out mostly for stress relief and joined a running club called Boring Running Dads. Oh, that's cute. I'm mentally in a better space. My best friend's wife messaged me that she thinks she found the perfect match for me. She said she's perfect. She's a single mom, she's cute and very outgoing. What are you doing on Friday night? I told her I'm driving my daughter to her practice and my son wanna bring a friend over for playing video games later. She said she will volunteer to do so I can go on the date. I told my kids that I have a dinner with a friend and she, my best friend's wife, will be helping me. Here is the thing. She showed up. She is 37 and she was very pretty. She has 3 kids with 2 dads. The dads are in picture and get along great. Her kids, the 2 oldest, are around mine. Then she started saying how fun she is. She goes clubbing with another single mom all the time. I was surprised because at our age clubbing is weird, but I thought maybe because I'm a boring person. She was laughing and bragging about how she got drunk once and her other mom friend convinced her to do a line of coke. Oh my god! Then said her sister is her best friend too and always gives her great advice. I was like, oh, that's nice. Does she have kids? She said no, haha, doesn't fit her lifestyle. She works as a stripper at a club and does OnlyFans on the side. Okay. Here's what I might have been an asshole. After I paid the bill, She asked me to go back to her place because kids were with their dads. I lied and said I can't because I have to get to my kids. When I got back, I told my best friend's wife I really didn't click with her. She tried to convince me to give her another chance, and it's been so long for you and I'm out of touch with reality. She said I was a judgy asshole, that I judged her based on her sister and friends. I told her I'll think about it. I thought about it and texted her. I said, thank you for going out with me, but I think we want different things in life. Good luck. Then I blocked her. Good for you, actually. Apparently, she called my friend's wife and got mad for setting her up with an asshole and got angry because she didn't expect a rejection. My friend and his wife are mad and said I should have at least given a chance, and I embarrassed myself by being a backward person. My friend's wife even said I can see why your wife left your boring ass. Okay, that last one was the rude. So am I the asshole? No, definitely not. Am I the asshole for yelling at my girlfriend after she refused to let me walk? I've been dating my girlfriend for about a year now. Whenever I work from home, she comes to my house and chills here. A few days ago, I was at the end stage of a leave deal and had to focus and lock in. It was a very stressful time with endless calls, meetings, and such. I told my girlfriend to stay home this day since I wouldn't really have a break. I'd be working pretty much the whole day. She said, it's okay, I'll just be doing my own thing. I said, cool. She comes over and I'm in the middle of a meeting. After the meeting finished, she came and tried to sit on me. I said, hey, I've got a lot to do. Let's do this later. She said, come on, just for 5 minutes. I wanna hug you. I said, yeah, I'd love to hug you too, but I need to walk. I told you that. She said, yeah, come on, just for 5 minutes. I said, bruh, I don't have 5 minutes. I need to work right now. Go to bed or go downstairs and watch a show or do something. Just please, leave me alone. I really need to focus. She kept just blatantly ignoring me and then eventually I just snapped. I yelled at her to get out of my room and out of my face. She seemed so shocked as she slowly walked backwards, and I said, okay, sorry, I shouldn't have yelled, but I told you a million times that I need to work. Just listen to me, that's all I ask. She said, yeah, I heard you just fine. And she went home. She's been in a really sour mood since, and while I understand that I shouldn't have yelled, she also should just understood and listen. It's really not that hard to understand the situation and just be accommodating. Stepdad kicked me out of the house after an argument. Now I don't talk to him ever. When I was 18, 34 now, I got into a really bad argument with my stepdad. He kicked me out and stated I couldn't come back inside the house until I apologized. 3 days later, I came home, knocked on the door and said, I'm sorry. He says, that's not a good apology, and shut the door in my face. 2 3 weeks later, I sign up for the military cause I'm homeless and surfing couches. 16 years of moving, working, and deploying go by, and we maybe see each other 3 times but never talked about the past. I have my own kid now, so I moved on, but he tries to send me and my kid birthday and Christmas money. When I was in the military, I would send him a pizza for Father's Day and his birthday once in a while. Now that I'm out of the military, I feel bad because I could care less how he's doing. His last Christmas, he sent money and even wrote the wrong name on my kid's envelope. This relationship feels out, but I feel bad because he was nice at one point in time. I feel like I'm being immature. But I never wanted to leave my family in America to fight. I missed all my sisters' and mom's birthdays, weddings, and their kids' births for 16 years, and I blame him. Am I the asshole for not moving on and forgiving him? He's never apologized, but he seems to want a relationship. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for locking my bedroom door at night to keep my dad's girlfriend's kid out? My dad moved his girlfriend and her son 5 in with us in October. I, 15, guess my dad's girlfriend had hyped her son up to have a brother, and he's been clingy with me since they moved in. When I'm home, he's following me around and wanting me to play with him. He tries to get inside my room whether I'm there or not. Sometimes I'll get home from a friend's house and he's bouncing in my bed and then he'll try to jump on me. He'll ask for me piggyback rides whether we're home or if we're out on family trips with my dad and his mom. His mom complains when I said no, and then dad will tell me I could carry him around for a while, and why can't I give the kid what he wants? I hate it, but it's worse at night. The kid sleepwalks some nights, and other nights he wakes up and he just can't fall back asleep. Before, when he'd wake up, he'd come into my room, and I'd send him away. It made his mom angry because he'd go back to his room for ages, and then go to her, and by then it would be almost time to get up. She told me I'm supposed to do better for my little brother, and I asked her, "What little brother? I'm an only child." She said I knew who she was talking about and whether I'm happy about it or not. And clearly I'm not. I'm no longer an only child. I told her just because she thinks that doesn't mean I do. She told me he's my brother, and I told her if her and dad break up, I'll never have to see her kid again. My dad and her broke up for like a week after I said that, but they stayed while she looked for a place, and then she took dad back, and she didn't move out with her son. The night stuff got so annoying that I started locking my door. It even saved me from him sleepwalking into my room. He didn't tell his mom at first, but the other night he was crying so hard and she asked why he was upset, and he said I locked my door and he didn't think I liked him and he wanted me to go back to being his brother. I heard him talk to her, but I pretend I was still asleep. When I got up a few hours later, Dad and his girlfriend were waiting, and they flipped out on me for locking my door at night. I said I didn't want to be woke up, and his girlfriend was yelling at me and said I broke her son's heart. I told her I didn't care, and I didn't want to deal with her kid in the middle of the night. She said I broke her and dad up once over this. She said I broke her and dad up once over this, and I won't do it again. Dad told me not to lock my door, but I did the next night anyway. She wants dad to take the handle off my door, so I can't lock it anymore, but it's too much effort for him. She told me I was being a brat, and said how cruel could I'm being. They're talking about breaking up, and she's putting in on me for locking the door and refusing to be a brother to her son. She said keeping him out like this is happening way too much, and it's mean to a little kid. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking my husband to stop funding my mother-in-law and sister-in-law's lifestyle? My husband, 38 male, and I, 36 female, have been married for 6 years now. My pay was always been double his, so I've been taking care of most of the household expenses, like rent, insurance, and utilities, while he handles the groceries. I've asked him multiple times for the past few years about having a baby and buying a house, but he's always made excuses, saying we don't have enough money for either. So I've been saving as much as I can and putting in extra effort at work to earn more. Recently, I found out that he's been buying a house for his sister, 36 female, not married, and paying the mortgage on it for the past couple of years. On top of that, he's been funding their lifestyle and trips, even so his sister has a good salary and is working. I feel hurt because he lied to me about our financial situation. He made me believe that he couldn't help us build a life together, while I've been managing everything. Our expenses, trips, and even saving for a future home. I asked him to stop sending money to his sister, but he refuses to stop paying the mortgage. What should I do? And we have an edit. We had a huge fight when I accidentally found out that he's earning way more than what he told me, and I even asked for a divorce. He started crying and saying he was embarrassed to tell me the truth. Apparently, His father doesn't have any money and they've never owned a house. He wanted to buy a home for his mom. His sister took out the home loan and so the house is under her name, even so he's been paying the mortgage. I don't understand why he would find this so embarrassing to hide it from me, his wife. He said he'll start saving for our future home, but he insists on continuing to pay the mortgage because he doesn't want to burden his sister. By the way, his sister isn't married and is living with my mother-in-law in the house he bought. We have separate accounts, and so it was easy for him to lie about his salary and how much he could pitch in. Am I the asshole for not dating a single dad even he is a victim? I, 19 female, recently went on a date with a guy, Ben, 25 male, after meeting through mutual friends. He was nice enough at first, but I found out he has 2 kids. One is 7 male, which means he became a dad at 18 with a 19 years old, and the other is 2 male. I've always known I don't want to date someone with kids. There was nothing wrong with him as a person, but I just couldn't see myself in that situation long term. I'm not particularly a fan of kids. If I have my own someday, we'll see, but that's not happening anytime soon. However, I don't think I could handle being a stepmother. After our first date, he messaged me saying he really liked me and wanted to see me again. I politely told him I didn't think it would work out. That's when he started pressuring me for a reason. He said he thought we clicked so well, we had the same interest, and he didn't understand why I was saying no. I tried to keep it vague at first, but he kept pushing. So I finally told him I wasn't comfortable dating someone with kids. She's 19. What kids? That set him off. He started saying things like how he thought younger girls liked experienced men. What? And that I was being judgmental. Then he said he didn't plan for any of this to happen and asked, "Don't you think I'm a victim? I was just a kid when I had my first, and the second one was a surprise. I don't even see his kids that often, as that we wouldn't have any problems. I was baby trapped. I hate it way harder than you." At that point, I was done. I didn't reply to him anymore. The mutual friends who set us up, he told them. They said I was being judgmental. Nobody these days cares about how many baby mamas someone has, or about being a stepmom. I told them I just don't see myself in that position. My friend said they understand, but that I should still apologize to Ben. So, should I do it? I don't think I'm wrong, but my friends say my apologizing would make peace for their relationship with Ben. Am I the asshole for not wanting to follow my mom's rules if I'm paying half the rent? My mom and I, 23 female, are potentially getting an apartment together and each paying half the rent, and she said that will still be the same rules applied as when I was still living at home with her. So, for background information, my parents growing up weren't super strict, but are a little more traditional, so they had certain rules with me that I of course didn't like. And they still applied even once I turned 18. Had to be at home a certain time, no tattoos, no sleepovers with my boyfriend at the time, and I couldn't go on any trips that the rest of my friend group went on. All girls. However, I understand that it's their house, their rules. So of course the solution was me moving out, which I did when I turned 21. I moved out with roommates and have been living there for the past 2 years. I'm in place financially now where I can afford an apartment of my own and just graduated college last month, so I've been looking for apartments. At the same time, my parents decided to split a few months ago and are currently working on finalizing the divorce and selling the house. I'm the only one of my siblings who lives in the same state, and my mom knew about my plans to get an apartment and asked if I'd wanted to look for one together and split the rent. She was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and now that her and my dad are done, she's working a regular job, so has been a little tight on money. This actually didn't seem like a bad idea to me, so I said yes. But now, we had a conversation yesterday and I told her about my tattoo appointment coming up, which she said to enjoy now because once we're under the same roof again, your lifestyle is gonna have to change. Oh my god. I was confused at first, and that's when she mentioned that I'll have to pretty much follow the same rules that I did as when I was living with her and my dad. This made me very upset, and I told her that if we're going to be getting an apartment where I am paying half of the bills, I'm not following her rules. Now she's saying I'm disrespectful and rude and disappointed in me and upset that I no longer want to get an apartment. As someone who's 23, I go out with friends at night when I'm off the next day. Been traveling within the country every other month and just enjoying my 20s, as you should do. I even have a trip to Cancun this summer for my birthday, and now apparently I'd have to cancel that. I won't be doing anything that she doesn't agree or would make her uncomfortable inside the apartment, but outside of our living space. I don't see the problem, but I don't want to damage the relationship with my mom. So, am I being unreasonable? Am I the asshole for freaking out at my friends after they implied my husband was a predator? I, 27 female, and my husband, 29 male, have been together 10 years and married for 6. He's the love of my life. When we got together, he moved in with me and my family because I lived with my parents at the time in a very expensive city. I have 3 younger siblings, 16 female, 14 male, and 12 female. For all their 14th birthdays, I've always said I would take them on a trip. We took my sister on a trip for her 14th birthday, and now at the end of this month, we are taking my little brother. My husband and my brother get along better than anyone. Neither of them have a brother. My husband has a sister, and my brother is the only boy of 6 of us, so they gravitate towards each other, and it's incredibly sweet to see. It's like they were meant to be brothers. Last night, I was hanging out with a few of my friends, and I was talking about how we were planning on taking my brother on a trip. And I joked about how I would be the third wheeling the entire time because they get along so well. A few of my friends laughed, but one of them gave me a weird look. She said that sounded really weird and inappropriate if my husband is giving my younger brother more attention than me. I said no, it wasn't like that at all. They just get along well and it was a joke. Then the friend said it was inappropriate that my almost 30 husband is so close with my brother who is a minor and said she wouldn't be surprised if it was like a grooming situation and I'm blind to it. How sweet. What a wonderful friend. I freaked out, not gonna lie. I yelled at her, how dare she imply anything like that about my husband, who she has met and get along with. And she's the widow if she thinks my husband, who was the only boy, bonding with my younger brother, who is the only boy, is inappropriate. I left then and went home, and since then the group chat has been blowing up with people taking sides, either agreeing that it is kinda weird and others saying she was way out of the line and needs to get over herself. I haven't told my husband because I don't want him to feel weird, but I'm starting to feel bad about how I handled it and thinking I overreacted and should have just left. Am I the asshole for not wanting to maintain a bond with my granddaughter after my daughter asked her uncle to walk her down the aisle at her wedding? For context, a month before my daughter married her husband, I filed for divorce from my wife. My wife had emotionally cheated on me for a couple of months, and I couldn't really get over it. What do you mean by emotionally cheated, I wonder? Now, while the timing wasn't great, I just did not want to be with my wife anymore, and I did not want to pretend to be happy with her. My wife and I informed our daughter, and we were honest about what happened since our daughter was an adult. However, my daughter was devastated and asked how could I do this to her just a month before her wedding. I can agree with her, to be honest. She said her mom clearly regretted what happened and was desperately trying hard to save the marriage. But my daughter said regardless she understood my decision to divorce. But why would I do it just a month before her wedding and the happiest day of her life? That is a good question. The whole thing was a mess, but my daughter did get over the shock after a week or so. But my daughter was really angry with me, and even though I was invited to the wedding, She withdrew the invitation of walking her down the aisle, and she asked her uncle to walk her down the aisle instead. It did really hurt me. But it was also my daughter's special day, so I didn't throw any fuss, and at the end of the day, I was happy for my daughter. She at least did the father-daughter dance with me. However, after the wedding, I gradually distanced myself from my daughter. And why would you do that? My daughter understood the reason for it. A year later, my daughter apologized for not asking me to walk her down the aisle. I told her it was okay, and there was no reason to apologize. But there was also no reason for us to have a bond anymore. What? My daughter thankfully understood my decision. It hurt me telling all these things because my daughter looked really sad, but it was time I put myself first. I'm speechless. A few months ago, my daughter gave birth to her first baby, and over the past couple of months, my daughter has been calling a lot and apologizing and crying because she really wants her daughter to have a bond with me. But the truth is, I just don't care. I feel emotionally detached, and at this stage of my life, I don't want to put effort into someone who betrayed me so badly. I will gladly read the wife's side of story. Am I the asshole for cutting off and exposing a friend who took advantage of a girl I was in love with? I, 22 male, had a best friend Jake, 23 male, who I thought was like a brother to me. We've been through everything together, college parties, road trips, even heartbreaks. But this is something I can't forgive. She was kind, smart, and honestly, one of the few people who saw me for who I really was. I never made a move because I didn't want to ruin our friendship, and honestly, I never thought I had a chance. But Jake, he knew. He always knew. A few weeks ago, we were all at a party. Emily got too drunk, way too drunk. I was the designated driver, so I stayed sober. At some point in the night, I lost track of her, and when I asked around, I found out Jake had taken her upstairs. I wanted to believe he was just helping her out, but my gut told me something was wrong. The next day, Emily was distant, different. She wouldn't say what happened, but I could tell something was off. Then, last week, Jake and I were hanging out, and he started bragging. Bragging. He said things like, "Bro, she was out of it, but she wanted it. Like she didn't say no." And then he laughed. He laughed. I felt sick. I didn't say anything at first, just let him keep talking, while I secretly saved everything on my phone using Reclip. Every disgusting detail, every joke, every time he brushed it off like it was nothing. And then I posted it. I uploaded the clip on my stories, my feed, everywhere, captioned it, "This is the guy you all call your friend." The fallout was instant. People started unfollowing him. Girls he had been with before started coming forward, saying they had similar experiences. His job found out, and last I heard, he got fired. But now people are saying I went too far, that I ruined his life and should have handled it privately, that even though he was wrong, I shouldn't have destroyed him like that. My own family is telling me I acted out of anger and that I should just have cut him off instead of humiliating him. What do you think? Am I the asshole for making my younger sister pay for my dream dress after she ruined it? Okay, so this is a bit messy. I, 22 female, have always dreamed of wearing a specific dress for a special event. It's a vintage style evening gown, pale blue with silver accents, and I saved for months to buy it. The dress was expensive for me, around $500, but it was worth every penny. I was planning to wear it to a formal gala my university hosts every year. Here's my sister, 17 female, let's call her Emma, comes in. Emma is a typical teenager, loves TikTok trends, always trying new styles. Last weekend, she begged me to try on the dress. I was hesitant, but eventually said yes under one condition. She had to stay in my room with no makeup, food, or drinks near it. She agreed, and I thought it would be fine. An hour later, I walked into my room to see Emma panicking. She had spilled bright pink nail polish on the front of the dress. She tried scrubbing it off, which only made it worse. I was devastated. I told her she needed to either get it professional cleaned or pay me back, since the dress was now eventually ruined. Emma cried and said she didn't have that kind of money. My parents think I'm being too harsh, arguing that she's a kid and it was an accident. They say I should let it go or share the cost of repairs with her. I stood my ground and said that she needs to face the consequences of her carelessness. Now Emma's been giving me silent treatment, and my parents are upset with me for ruining the family vibe. I'm not rich and I worked hard to afford that dress. I feel like it's only fair for Emma to take responsibility, but part of me wonders if I'm being too harsh since she's still a teenager.